right, folks, we got something special. So a friend of mine, you know him as the best rusher of all time, NFL Hall of Famer. I know him as a passionate real estate guy, and I'm excited for you to meet that guy. So please welcome to the stage my friend, our customer, Emmitt Smith.
What's up, bro? How is everybody? What? Are y'all good? Yeah. Y'all had a good conference?
Better say good.
I mean,
this thing's expensive.
I was kind of like in the middle of something like, don't invite them next year. Invite some new people, you know.
So before we jump into it, I'm going to tell everybody the story of how I met Emmitt, because it's pretty funny. So a couple years ago.
I was sleeping on the streets of New York.
Yeah. Probably 3 years ago, I get a call from my Dallas office, and Rhett Miller's like, hey, 2 o'clock today, Sarah Catherine's coming up with some folks, and Emmitt's going to be with them. They're from E. Smith. Smith is the most common last name in the world. I mean, at least in America, right? And so why would I ever put two and two together? And so he's like, you'll see her when she comes off the elevator, just come say hello to him. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm sitting in the conference room, and I see Sarah come off the elevator, whom I know, and I go to greet them. She comes off, another woman, and there's a guy behind her, black guy, bald head. You had like your cute little earring you wear.
I'm surprised they didn't call the cops right there.
And you know when your brain's starting to like, you can't tell if your mind's playing tricks on you, and I'm like, that's so funny, this dude kind of looks like Emmitt Smith. He must be like a lookalike. And then I go, what's up, man, I'm Nick, and he goes, hey, I'm Emmitt Smith, and I literally said, holy shit, you're Emmitt Smith. and that was how we met, and we literally, you saw every kid in my office, like just the phones dropped, their minds exploded, and it was this really random thing. We spent the next 3 hours talking about technology. And not football, which was really funny. And so what you'll learn about Emmitt is that while he obviously has had an unbelievable career in professional sports, he's a true entrepreneur. An amazing dancer, as we've seen in Dancing with the Stars. But he's a true entrepreneur. He's a technology addict. He loves talking about analytics, machine learning, and real estate. That's his passion. So I think we'll talk a lot about people that you probably love, like Roger Staubach, who've kind of taken a very similar path to you. But let's first start with, how the hell did you end up in commercial real estate?
Well, first of all, let me just say it's an honor to be here today, and thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Actually be here. How I got to be in the real estate business, first and foremost, not having a real estate background coming out of college, but and being thrust into the National Football League and surrounded by a bunch of wealthy individuals, and spending time with Jerry Jones and understanding what he did from an oil and gas standpoint, how he invested into the Dallas Cowboys and actually acquired the Dallas Cowboys, the stadium and the team, for about $140-something million. Then watching how he leveraged the team itself into other avenues, real estate development, Starwood development in Dallas, which is a residential community, also some apartments down in Austin, and had a team over at the grand opening, and all the folks coming out. So he leveraged the players as much as he possibly could. And so I just began asking questions. I'm like saying to myself, this guy here is paying us all this money. How much money is he really making? And so I got to know Jerry very well and got behind the scenes, and he allowed me the opportunity to actually sit in his office and listen at some of his business conversations. And so I did that my whole rookie year. Yeah. I would go around during lunchtime, and whenever I had a break, to go sit in and listen at him, talk to Paul Tagliabue at the time, the NFL commissioner, and just hear how he managed the whole entire process of leveraging the Dallas Cowboys as a brand itself. And so I got some insight there, but then I met Roger Staubach.
Yep. Does everyone know the Staubach story? Staubach, bought by JLL.
Roger Staubach, just to give you a little background. Roger Staubach, when he played in the 70s, way before my time, was probably making about $125,000 a year.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And he's a Hall of Famer, great quarterback and everything else. And so he come to realize that $125,000 a year could not really service his family, and he had a lot of kids. So this Navy guy, playing professional football, made $125,000 a year, something like that, playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And he took a second job, which was in the brokerage services business. He worked with a company called Henry S. Miller. Now, in Dallas, there was a lot of, you got the Crows, you have the Perot's and many, many other real estate big moguls down in Texas. And Roger happened to fall right into that vein. And so when he retired, upon retirement, he started the Starback Company. And he started tenant rep business. At the time, a lot of people was doing a whole lot of landlord rep and so forth, and nobody was really representing the tenant. He took that model and flipped it on his head. And that's how the Starback Company began. He grew the company. Years later, he sold the company back in 2008, 2007 to Jones Lang LaSalle for about $750 million. That's doing it. That's doing it.
Beats the hell out of $120,000 a year salary.
All day,
Getting
every day,
beat up
and
every
3 times
day.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. And so for me, growing through the ranks and playing the game of sports, what I love about playing the game of sports, it isn't a magnet and it is a conversational piece, but it's not the end all. It is the beginning of a new beginning. And it created so many avenues and so many open doors just for conversation with great business people. People not making millions, but making multi-millions, in some cases hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. And so you come to realize that the world is much broader than just the location that you actually are in. And if you're around these folks, the thing that I learned the most is sometimes it's better to be quiet than to make yourself known in the middle of a room with people that have that much knowledge. Because that's where you soak it all up. But that's where I was getting it all from. And so when it came down to me making a decision, after doing my own research from the mid-90s to 2000s, I come to realize what I really wanted to do. And that's how I made a decision to get into the real estate business, because I started following the money trail. And I come to realize equity is pretty much my equity. Sweat equity is pretty much them putting together the deal, whether that it's a development, because I wanted to be a developer. Roger really wanted me to be a broker. But I really wanted to get my hands dirty, get out there and find that hard corner on Main and Main, figure out the ingress and egress and everything else I needed, figure out the zoning rights and all those kind of things, and then figure out really what the property wanted to be, whether it's wanted to be an office or mixed use or retail, multifamily, whatever it was. That's what I wanted to do. So I took what my skill sets was on the football field, which was vision and having the ability to see something before it actually happens. Taking the ability to not only see something and see it before it happens, but to get there. That's what my running ability was all about. And so I saw things in Dallas prior to them actually happening. And then I started to develop the skill set of not only recognizing it, now I'm at the point of I'm ready to execute against it. So I've seen it happen for many, many years.
I just think it's unbelievable that you, even at a young age, your rookie year, you were obviously the shining star of the league, were spending time actively thinking about, Jerry Jones is a really smart guy. I need to learn from him now, not towards the tail end of my career. I mean, I don't know how, that is mind-blowing to me. And I think it actually shows you, because you're right, as a player, you were a strategic running back, right? You were finding holes and opportunities. You might have been the fastest guy in the league, but you scored more touchdowns.
I wasn't the fastest guy in the league. Obviously, you could tell I'm not the biggest guy either. So, but
his hands are about this big. So you shake his hand, you feel like he's the biggest guy in the league.
I cannot fumble that football. So you give me the ball, I'm gonna run.
Don't fumble real estate either. It'll hurt you.
Don't want to fumble the real estate either.
Right.
But that's where data analytics come into play too. It can help you with some of the ebbs and flows of real estate too as well.
So walk us through E. Smith Legacy Holdings. Tell us about the business.
Perfect. E. Smith Legacy Holdings is a full-service real estate development company, I should say solutions company. Everything that we do in the real estate business has to have a solutions to it. It's always problem solving, and everything is always moving some way, shape, or form. And you have to figure out or find a snake in the wood pile, is like we like to say. So figuring out those things, you bring some form of solution to the real estate itself. If there's a problem, we figure out what the problem is, and then we try to develop the solution to get it resolved so we can turn something into something beautiful. Whether it's land mitigation or whether it's a dilapidated area that needs some tender loving care, or someone to actually be forward-thinking and bringing a retailer to this particular location like Magic Johnson used to do it with Starbucks.
Yep.
Where people said you cannot go in these urban communities and actually make money. Well, that was a lie. That's been proven to be a lie. And so looking at a trade area inside out and outside in, bringing different type of diverse thinking to the real estate opportunity is really what we're all about. And creating opportunities to obviously create shareholder value or investors value as well.
And so I feel like every person on your team that I've met over the past couple of years has been very impressive. And I feel like being a professional athlete, you just understand team dynamics probably better than anyone. And so what parts of just the team aspect do you feel like you've brought to E. Smith that maybe others, just because they have never been in your world, really overlook?
Well, just imagine this room. We have approximately, 150, 200 people in here? That's 250 different personalities. That's what my locker room was like. Some was bipolar. Some was sane. Some was far out there and all those kind of things. So you learn how to deal with the different type of personalities. And that's no stigma on anyone that has a mental illness or anything of that nature. You learn how to deal with those things. You learn how to work with those folk. You learn how to motivate them and how to help each other. So in that locker room, you take all of these different mixes and you have to work hard to bring them all together, to get them all on one page, marching to the same beat, going in the same direction. That's a task. That's a tough task.
Yep.
But there's some yielding. There's a whole lot of giving. There's a whole lot of patience there. And that's what we have to do as an organization, where I have some very, very bright people working with me. And I add in my little element. I like to surround myself with people that are much smarter than I am.
Me too.
I like to walk into the room and be the dumbest guy in the room. That's okay, because that means I get a chance to listen, to learn, and not only that, at some point I'm gonna share something with you that's gonna be profound. And so as a football player and as a leader of our organization, I set the vision and I help out with the strategy, and my team and all of us get together, we all execute against the game plan. And so as the chairman of our company, setting that vision and setting a transitional plan for myself and the organization is really what I do. And I like to get dirty too. So being a developer, being a broker, getting on brokerage calls and so forth, going to office buildings and meeting with tenants and so forth, I love that, because that's where I get to interact with someone that I really, truly want to work with. And then peeling back the onion, when you go into the technology aspect of it, understanding my trade area, that's some powerful data.
Yep.
And so being able to make a better informed decision in terms of where we go, how we get there, when we get there, and so forth. Those are all the aspects of what being a great leader really is all about to me.
What's your favorite part? So I feel like I'm a CEO, you're CEO, chairman now, and I feel like you're kind of the jack of all trades, master of none when you're in these roles. I mean, is there one part of it that you love doing more than the most? Is it I feel like you really value social capital, right? Like you know that being out and meeting people is a real asset, and you're really good at it. And every time we go out, we have a great time, and I just see you talk to people, and I know it's something that you value. So what part of running the company do you love?
I think it's about the strategy. I think structure follows strategy, and it's the strategy of when you have a dynamic company like we have obviously a development arm, E. Smith Properties, then we have E. Smith Advisors, which is a brokerage tenant rep side of our business, and then you have E. Smith Properties, not properties, but communities where single tenant focused, small, 15,000, 25,000 square foot focused development side. And then you have E. Smith Horizons, which is on the infrastructure side, investing in America's infrastructure. Then you add in E.J. Smith Construction. So those are all data points that touch various aspects of real estate. Somebody might say, well, how does construction touch real estate? Well, you can't have it unless somebody come in and build it. And so with construction, I'm able to get data points in terms of when steel is going up in prices, or when engineering firms are not really doing any drawings, or architects not doing any drawings. That's a sign that something is going on. So when you sit back and you have all these data points coming to you this way, you're able to look at and forecast out and say, okay. Something is happening.
You're breaking down the defense to make your offensive plays, my man.
Make them all better.
That's it.
That's all I'm doing. I'm analyzing what's happening on the defensive side of the ball that could actually hurt the company. And my job is to also, with my partners, to make sure that we all are informed.
I love it. So you made a pretty big announcement recently. So I think you're someone who understands just having the bigger the platform you have, the more chances of success. And so you made a pretty big announcement in doing a joint venture with Newmark Knight Frank. So talk to us about what that does for E. Smith and just how that came about, because I think it's super interesting.
Well, it's funny how it came about, because I really wasn't looking, going outwardly, looking for another partner, but then I ran into a young man that says that I want to look at your company, and I'm like, really? We're really small. Why would you think about eating us up and stuff like that? He said, well, I'm a gobbler. I'm like, okay, gobbler. I'm like, okay. So we had a conversation. He said, I said, you looking at me or you looking at my company? He said, I want you. I said, what about, he said, I got a ton of brokers, but I want you. I said, okay, so let's talk. So we had a conversation, and my team.
Is Barry?
Huh?
Is this Barry?
No, it's not Barry.
Okay.
I'm not going to drop a name on him. So we had conversations with my team and I, and we made a decision that this is the route we would go, because the platform that Newmark Knight and Frank actually offered, not only from a technology standpoint, but they offered over 400 offices around the globe. They also offered 15,000 brokers on the retail, office, industrial, and also in the governmental space, as well as in the medical space. They offered a whole lot, not to mention all the other technology things that they had. They bought companies. It was associated with Cantor Fitzgerald. So you start talking about fundraising and dollars and all, boom, light bulb went off. Here's an opportunity. How do we take advantage of it? But most importantly, you mentioned something earlier. They are a huge company. And with a huge company like that, who are the real players? 15,000 brokers, there's a lot of brokers to go through. And we know this for a fact, everybody's not a great broker. Let's be honest. And so at the end of the day, when you start breaking this down, you're like, okay, how do we manage ourselves within this big old platform? How do we get into the right room so we can have the right conversations that are aligned with the things that we are passionate about? How do we get our goat geeked up and ready to go fight? And so that's what Newmark offered, and we saw it as a tremendous opportunity for an African-American firm to be at the table and be at that level to provide the services to help us become better brokers and services of the relationships that we had. And any relationships that wanted to get connected to us, we wanted to make sure that service is the most important thing that we provide. And Newmark offered that up, and we took the opportunity.
Can anyone here expect to see E. Smith now growing outside of Dallas, or you want to stay in the Texas market?
Oh, we're gonna grow outside of Dallas,
okay.
But we're gonna do it in moderation. But you know, when you have a tenant that is growing themselves, and they're a regional tenant today, but now you have this national or this global platform, you can help them go a lot further. And so at the pace that they want to. The resources within the firm now is unlimited. And so having unlimited resources and being able to not only service them in a regional or local regional basis, now you're able to help them grow beyond that, if that's what they choose to do. And there are companies right now that we go in and competing for opportunities, and they're having challenges in certain parts. I like to hear people having challenges. Hence, that's why I say we're a real estate solutions company. We're here to solve those challenges and help alleviate those challenges to help you become more efficient about what you're doing. Not only efficient about what you're doing, but put you in better locations so you can get the better quality service that you expect from any brokerage services company out there.
I'm just envisioning myself like going into a pitch for a tenant, because normally they'll have 2 or 3 firms come in at once, and you're waiting in the lobby, and Emmitt Smith walks out, and you're like, oh shit.
That has happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see her there.
That has happened. I say, hello. How y'all doing?
You look inside. There's
Good luck.
He just signed their baby's forehead.
Oh.
And the deal's over.
When you go into the room and the kid's in the room too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a done deal. Done deal.
Oh, it's not fair, man.
It's a done deal. I'm
Shit.
sorry.
Smart move by Newmark. And so, you talk a lot about infrastructure.
Right.
And that's been, I think, a hot topic for you for a long time, especially the Dallas market. You've been living there for, 30 years now?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah. And so, why does it interest you so much? Is it because the way that it's going to actually improve the real estate values themselves?
I think infrastructure actually, and we're talking about physical infrastructure, roads, bridges, highways, and things of that nature. I think infrastructure itself is a clear indication where significant investments are being made and where they've been made and how they are going to transform that particular area.
Right.
We're used to seeing infrastructure going outwardly, out to rural areas, et cetera, et cetera. But now we spend so much time focusing on growing exponentially externally. The market has shifted to people now wanting to come back internally into urban centers or CBDs. And so now with that influx of people wanting to come back, you have residential growth and development kind of like this big old city here in Dallas, Texas. And they're looking for more walk traffic downtowns. And they were losing taxpayer dollars going outwardly while people were working internally. So now they're trying to get these dollars back. And so with that comes tremendous opportunities. As well as in Texas, we're expected to grow to almost 10 million to 12 million people by 2045. And we're right at about 8 now. I mean, 6 now? 6.5, 6 to 8. And so that's a lot of folks. They all can't fit downtown Dallas. So you have to continue to invest in the infrastructure to widen the roads so traffic doesn't get as bad, or even take it out even further so you have more development going on in areas outside of, let's just say, the city of Frisco and Prosper and so forth, in Texas, or even in the Houston area. Just the upgrade of America's infrastructure, which we have neglected for so long, is required. So hence, that's one reason why Horizon sits on our platform as a clear indication of where significant investments are going. And then we come in with the analytical aspect of it to analyze all of the real estate around it.
And Horizon's the infrastructure fund?
Yes.
Gotcha. And
that dude over there run it.
All right, talk to him.
The other ball head.
And are there partners in the fund, or is that all your own capital? So
no, it's not all my own capital. I mean, when you're talking about billions of dollars, I mean,
you called Jerry.
Yeah. I called Jerry.
I did a lot for this franchise.
He only has a couple billion. I mean, you need more than that because America's infrastructure. There's a gap here, about over $125 trillion gap.
Wow.
And so I don't know how we're gonna make that up between, taxpayers. Well, we just reduced our taxes from 39% down to 25%. So there's a large gap there. Then you're talking about capital gains tax being reduced as well. So where's the dollars coming from? How are we going to get these things filled and paid for? So they're going to have to go to the public sector at some point in order to bridge that gap.
It's unbelievable. And so what's next, man? I feel like you're taking over the world now.
No, I'm not taking over the world.
You're taking over all the,
I'm just
the
being a
business.
part of the world. I want to be a good steward of what God has blessed me with. And I want our team to be successful, just like anyone else wants their team to be successful. We're willing to compete. We're willing to joint venture. We're willing to partner. We're willing to do things, anything to make it better. And I think that's the approach that we're taking from the Emmitt Smith side of the equation. We want to get better at what we do. We want to, I honestly, and I tell my teammates and my partners and all, we're actually in the service business, y'all. That's all we do. We are here to serve. Any client that wants something, Our job is to make sure that we service them in the best way. We're not lease expiration chasers. So we want to, if we got a client, we want to work with you from the beginning to the middle to the end. I look at it as a pre, a during, and a post, and then let's continue to keep going further. Just like I did in football. We had a pre, a during, and a post. So we made pre-game adjustments, during the game adjustments, and post-game evaluations. And we continue that model every time we have a project or a client that we work with, just so we understand completely who they are, what they're all about, what their desires are, and how we make it happen for them.
Yeah, and I think you're a great example of truly being competitive as an asset. Whenever you and I talk about this, I'm just gonna be like, I see you competitively want to do great things for your customers, right? You're competing with yourself. You're saying, how do we continually get better? And we call that a retro. Like, after we did this thing, let's retro. How can we do it better next time, right? It's very similar to how you operated in the NFL. It's unbelievable.
Well, yes. I mean, becoming an all-time leading rusher, that took vision, that took planning, that took a whole lot of hard work. Obviously, a lot of sacrifices here and there. But most importantly, it took a lot of people to be a part in order to make that happen. But I had to do my part too, and that's preparing myself week in and week out. And God's grace kept me healthy enough to be on the football field for as long as I was.
It's unbelievable.
15
you play
years.
For 15, that will probably never happen again. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, never say never.
Yeah.
If a human did it one time, a human can come back and do it again.
I just want to beat your record, man.
Well, I don't want nobody to beat it either, but still. Still. Yeah, I mean, the possibility is there. We just don't know who that person is going to be.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that I look at in business. Success has a way of spoiling all of us. You get a little bit of money. You feel like you made it. You got a little pride about yourself. Learn how to deal with that level of success.
Yep.
And we had to learn it as a team. When you win, how do you stay hungry? And no one has done it better in the National Football League than the New England Patriots. Yep. I mean, when you go to 8 Super Bowls, you know how hard it is to get to 2 or even get to 1. I mean, and then win. So when you see a team like that, it's that same type of philosophy that I take.
What do you think it is? Is it just the hunger? It's like you just got to stay that hungry?
It's hungry and not being satisfied with where you are.
Yeah.
And maximizing your ability. You have to maximize your ability because your brand, your name is the only thing that you actually have. And you have a chance and a window to maximize your opportunity. That's what Roger Staubach did.
Yeah.
He maximized his opportunity. That's what Crow Holdings have done.
Yep.
That's what that's what you guys are doing right now.
Yeah.
You're forward-thinking leaders. And you have taken a hold of an area that somebody neglected for a long time. That's what Bill Gates done with Microsoft.
Yep.
That's what Steve Jobs have done. Taking advantage of something that someone then did not see value in. And that's what you do in the real estate business. People don't see this land as value, but a person with vision and the know-withal get there and they make it happen.
We have an actual company value internally, which is just strive for excellence, which is all about always questioning everything we're doing so we can do better next time.
Right.
And so I think that kind of talks to or speaks to just staying hungry, knowing that if you're not constantly improving, at some point someone's going to beat you.
If you're not constantly improving, you're regressing.
That's right.
And if you're happy with where you are, you still are regressing without even knowing it. And so it's okay to enjoy your spoils, but don't enjoy them too long. I mean, for us, it's like, I'm going to use a football analogy. We win a game, and we beat the Giants. We celebrate for 24 hours. We celebrate for 24 hours, and after that, it's going away.
That's right.
We lose. Well, we only have 24 hours to get over that loss because we have to get ready for the next opportunity. Yeah. If you lose in the real estate game, a pitch against someone else, obviously you want to have a debrief and understand what you could have done better. Yeah. What you did not do so well, and evaluate your team and your team performance, and then go back at it again.
That's it. Well, we got about just over 10 million minutes left, and now I want to open
10 million minutes?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we talk in the billions when we're talking square feet.
Yeah.
Keep saying you got 8 million feet. I'm like, 8 million feet a minute? 8 billion feet.
8 billion feet.
damn it.
Billions.
And he always says it like this. So I do want to open up for questions. And so we've got, I think, mic handlers. So don't be shy. So who wants to go first?
Emmitt, thank you, first off, for being here. This is really, really cool and special. Question for you. So it sounds like you learned a lot from Roger. What's the greatest lesson that Roger taught you in becoming a businessman, getting into real estate?
Number one, he taught me, do what you say you're going to do, even if you have to lose. Do what you say you're going to do. If you have to eat your fee because you messed up, then do that. At the Starbucks company, they would put their fee up as a guarantee.
I like that.
If we didn't perform, it's at your discretion. You can keep it, or you can give it to us.
Ryan, my co-founder, is sitting over there at JLO, had a very successful brokerage career. That was actually his model too. You now know who you stole it from. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
That was the theme through the Starbucks company. Yeah, they had a fee guarantee.
I like that. Well, I feel like most tenants never know how much you're actually going to make. So they say, listen, I'm going to make $50,000. Like, what? And if I don't do a good job, you can have it.
Right.
It works. Transparency is a real thing.
Do a great job. If I save you some money here, can I get a percentage of that? Why not? I mean, when I go in sometime and I'm pitching lease administration.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, this is what you're currently doing. If we come in and save you X amount, can we get a percentage of that too? Why not? If you're willing to take my fee, can I get a percentage of what we save you?
Right.
Why
that
not?
Seems fair.
It's just a question. They have the option to say yes, or they have the option to say no.
Yeah.
It's up to them.
I like it.
If you don't ask the question, you'll never know. So don't be afraid to ask the question.
It's true. Actually, you know what? Every day we save you in downtime, VTS now wants a percentage of that. There you go. I just asked.
Can I get a percentage of the, because I came with the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Yeah. Well, now we know you're officially a broker. All right, who's next?
You had mentioned Jerry Jones. You spent time with him in the office. The current Cowboys players, the rookies, do they contact you? Do they spend time with you? Because, thinking about a career after football.
I have been contacted by a number of NFL players, former players, current players, some of them wanting to come and spend time in the office and shadow me as well. Even when they were playing, there were guys that would contact me for advice as far as football goes. And right now there's Sean Phillips. I think he and I speak probably at least once a quarter. He calls me at least once a quarter to pick my brain on what's going on in the real estate business, what he's doing. And I'm telling you right now, this next wave of athletes are going to be completely different from a business perspective than the current athletes that or the former athletes that you used to see it. These guys are thinking so much broader now, and technology has made it very accessible for a lot of people, and it has bridged the gap for a lot of these guys.
Social media has got to be a huge opportunity. You've got athletes who have millions of followers. Every post for them is a revenue opportunity, right?
Every post is a revenue opportunity. And social media is huge for us.
It's a business.
Because it's another touch point for any commercial organization or corporation out there that's looking to touch certain demographics and so forth. So
yeah, I think you're probably a great mentor for any athlete, so they're lucky to have you there.
Some of them guys can be great mentors for me because I'm not a big social media guy. I have a big platform.
Yeah.
But I don't spend a whole lot of time engaged in that platform because guys like you keep me busy.
Hey, we're trying our best, man. We're trying our best.
And guys like them, they keep me busy too.
Yeah.
Not to mention my own family keeping me busy.
Yeah, no, trust me, I know how it goes. Question?
Emmitt, you've won practically every award that there is in NFL. Which one are you most proud of?
The one I'm most proud
Great question.
of. That is a great question. I really think the Hall of Fame, personally, was something that was never really on my radar, but once I started seeing Troy and Michael go in, then it became such a real moment. And the beautiful thing about the Hall of Fame, it gave me a chance to really stop, breathe, and take in what I was able to accomplish throughout my whole entire career. Because writing that speech gave me some insights and to the people, more so than anything else, that has been there supporting me since I was a little boy. Coaches like Charlie Egger, who taught me how to read blueprints and floor plans at the age of 11, and who owned his own construction company.
Yep.
Dwight Thomas, my high school coach, who taught me it's only a dream until you write it down, then it becomes a goal. But he also said, never be satisfied with anything, because the day that you do become satisfied is the day that the growing stops. So I'm always pushing that envelope. So I'm taking these little teachings and these sayings with me throughout my whole career. Then playing against Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin my freshman year at the University of Florida, getting blasted by the Miami Hurricanes. And then playing against Troy Aikman after my freshman season in the Aloha Bowl with Ken Norton and James Washington on the other side. Then 3 or 4 years later, all of us are together in Dallas. And so having a chance to reflect over that 15, 20-year time frame of my whole entire career and seeing the Super Bowls come up and everything else, that's what the Hall of Fame did for me. And it made me appreciate the journey and the process of getting there a lot more than I would have if I did not take the time. So when I say enjoy your success, do that, but reflect in the moments. Because it's the moments that you will remember and will stay with you for a lot longer than any dollar. And you will appreciate those processes in that moment. And so to me, it's those moments.
And it is hard. When you're in it, right, and your head's down, and whether you're an athlete, a developer who's ground up building a building, leasing a portfolio, it's really rare where you take a minute and say, holy shit, look what we built.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually like your mom's the first one to call you and say, my son didn't like, no, I don't lease apartments. I do technology. Well, you're great at it. I'm like, thanks, Mom. And so usually it's other people who have to remind you to say, Emmitt, this is a great moment. And you're like, you're right. It's so hard. It's really great advice, I think, for all of us to just sit back at some point and just reflect on what we've actually done. Whether you're building a building, you know, if you're entering the Hall of Fame and I don't know you, that's a problem. But any kind of accomplishment, it is really hard to reflect on those.
Yeah.
It's great
when
advice.
you have a chance, take a chance and reflect. And think about how you got into this place where you are right now. Who helped you? Because I'm a firm believer no one becomes successful by themselves. And 100%. So it takes a whole lot of people to help you get to the place you're trying to go.
I saw another question over here, or two. Oh.
What's your most interesting or funny real estate meeting story? And B question is, did you ever have a Stub Sandwich?
Did I ever have a sub sandwich? A Stubbs? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. My whole team had Stub sandwiches. I think it was a prerequisite that everybody on the football team ate Stub sandwiches on Fridays and Saturdays before we traveled. For y'all that don't know what a Stub sandwich is, it's a heart buster. That's what it really is. It's a bunch of meat, bunch of grease, bunch of eggs, bunch of bacon, bunch of sausages, cheese. It's about this big, and you ate it. And it was excellent, too. Memorable moment in real estate.
Funniest moment.
Oh, funniest moment? You know? Probably hanging with these guys right here. My partners and I mean, when I talk about a locker room.
Now, you guys have fun. I see it all the time.
We have fun. We have fun. Y'all can look at us. Y'all may think we're arguing and all that kind of stuff, but we're bickering and clowning and joning on each other left and right and having so much fun. And at the same time, when it's time to turn on that light for business, that's what we do. But, you know, real estate, I think one of the funniest moments, I ain't going to say the funniest moment, but one of the weirdest moments was probably during the recession. We found ourselves at the FDIC office trying to buy some assets. And we came in probably about 2 months prior to this one particular meeting and sat down with them and told them these are the assets that we're looking at and we want to know, can we purchase these assets from you guys? And they're like, well, we cannot sell them to you directly because you got to go through an RFP process. We're like, okay, no problem. But make sure that we're on the list. We did everything we needed to do. We send them in the information, put up our $200,000 of earnest money and everything just to be on the list. We come back, we find ourselves flying back up to D.C. to go back and meet with them again. As soon as we hit the ground, I get a paper and I'm reading about Starwood Capital about to buy some assets that we were looking at from the FDIC. And I'm saying to myself, how in the hell did this happen? When anybody get an invite, a note, or anything? When is the bidding process? So we tail it right over to the FDIC office, right? We get over there, we sit down in the meeting, and they all jolly and happy and everything. We sit back saying, so these assets that we were looking at that you said that you could not sell to us directly, how in the world is Starwood Capital getting these assets without going through the bid process? Y'all wanted those assets? Yeah. And so Barry Sternlicht came in and swooped them up, got a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
They were 4 or 5-star assets. And we walked out of there, ticked off, and got screwed out of the opportunity.
You got to move faster.
It happens. Yes, you do got to move faster.
You understand speed. Run him back.
Yeah. But I couldn't make that plane fly any faster. No, but, I mean, it happens. I mean, disappointment does happen.
Yeah.
And so we licked our wounds, and now we still started pushing.
Awesome. We got time for one more question. Mr. Flint?
You go back to your prime in the NFL.
I'm still in my prime.
No, but you're still playing. And you can choose Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, or Tom Brady in their prime. Who do you choose?
What kind of question is that?
Maybe I might have to remove Troy Aikman from that one, but
It's got to be Brady.
It's Troy Aikman.
Really?
all right.
In my prime. Because Brady wasn't even around in my prime.
Right.
And Roger prime had gone.
Right.
So, I mean, Tom Brady is by far the greatest quarterback to ever play the National Football League, without a doubt. And but I'm not going to trade my guy for him.
I like that. Loyalty.
Loyalty,
That
I like
matters.
that.
Yeah.
All right, so 18,355 yards to now millions of square feet. I think we're going to continue to be your biggest fans on and off the field, and we're so excited for the future. Thank you for being here. Big round of applause for Emmitt.
Thank you.
Thank you.